Welcome to Pods with Posh and Paul, a podcast designed to inspire and challenge listeners through story, experience and insight. To face adversity, learn from suffering and discover how to embrace life with a heart filled with love and gratitude. We are so thrilled to have you journey with us and can't wait to share your stories. Join Sue O'Callaghan and Joanne Webb as we disrupt the theory that everyone has perfect lives.
Hi Sue, how are you?
Good, how are you?
We've talked about trauma, haven't we? We've talked about isolation and we've talked about goal setting. They've been our three topics so far. And prior to the lockdown, we talked about uncertainty. Well, today we're going to talk about rules. Now, Sue and I are rule breakers in life. So we are natural rule breakers. We like to, extend the boundaries and we like to push boundaries and we like to ask questions. However, there are rules in place for a reason. And this virus is showing that nobody is exempt from it. Like most viruses, we've now got cabinet ministers that have got it. We've got celebrities. We've got the poor, the rich, and everybody in between. And I think people are taking this too lightly, aren't they? I mean, I am quite laid back about the actual virus. I'm not getting in a panic about it. However, I am living my life as if I've got the virus. That was the tip that was given to us, wasn't it, Sue?
Yeah.
And we thought it was just a simple tip. And Jacinda, our Prime Minister, has said it over and over again. Act as if you have the virus. And if you're acting as if you have the virus, you're saving yourself and you're trying to stop other people from getting it. Now, the rules are in place, aren't they, Sue, for a reason. And yesterday I found myself getting a little bit cross. I went for my outdoor exercise. I was walking way past 2 meters around people as much as I could. Yet then I see this group of people on the beach, and it was where the tide was quite high, and they were chit-chatting. They were obviously not in the same bubble, and they'd obviously all out walking their dogs, and the three of them were all just chit-chatting, and they were really close, and they stayed there for ages. And oh my God, it kind of drove me mad. So I'm thinking, our rules are there for a reason.
So again, we're all in completely different situations. I was talking to a friend in England this morning, and she was saying that she was ordering clothes online, and you can do that. You can order clothes online. And I said, gosh, that's interesting, because in New Zealand, where we are, although we're from England, you can't order clothes online. You can't order anything online apart from food, and you can barely get food online. I mean, if you can get a slot, you're lucky. But the whole purpose in New Zealand of lockdown is to minimise contact between people. And I said to her that if people are in contact centres, distribution centres, courier centres, and they're packaging and they're moving goods around, the risk of infection is increased. And as we know now, the virus is not a living organism like a bacteria. It's actually a protein that sits on a surface. So the whole purpose of Jacinda's rules in New Zealand is to protect us from the transmission of that virus on packages, parcels, food, and so on. So the whole point of lockdown is to minimise the number of people that are outside their homes. And the idea in New Zealand is we're supposedly on a month's lockdown, none of us know. The purpose is to nip it in the bud, to see the numbers come down, to see the peak reduce, and therefore we can all go back to work faster. And therefore, if we're thinking about economy, the economy can recover faster. The thinking in different countries varies. And obviously, Boris Johnson's got one set of rules, Trump another set of rules, Turkey another, and so on all around the world. But if we look at our own set of rules, I think it applies to everybody to trust in our leadership and to honour the leadership, because we don't fully understand why they put their rules in place. We're reading so much on social media. I try and cut off from a lot that's there, but because I don't want to be in scaremongering mode, but I think we need to honour and trust the people that are leading us.
Absolutely, and make sensible steps for ourselves and our own protection. I kind of didn't even really think about the bigger picture until I went and picked a letter from the letterbox the other day, and then I put it on the work surface, and I thought, so I quickly opened it, threw the letter to one side, put it in the bin, and washed my hands and disinfected the work surfaces, because you just don't know where it's going to be, do you? And yesterday, I ventured to the supermarket. I was very brave. But again, stay 2 meters away from somebody. Well, that's just impossible in the supermarket because the aisles are so narrow. But you just do the best you can. Obviously, they're letting fewer people in. and they've got the meter mark or 2 meter mark at the queues. So adhere by all the rules as much as you can. But then when you come home, you've got all this shopping. You think, oh, so I'm going to have to kind of clean it all, and then you strip off and wash your clothes and have a quick shower, because that's what they recommended. I work with a lady in the office, and she's German, so obviously they've got it quite bad over in Germany. And then her sister lives in Iran, and they've been on lockdown for a long, long time, living like small apartments. And when she goes to the supermarket, she literally goes in a mask and gloves, comes back when she comes in from the supermarket, strips off altogether, throws the gloves away, totally washes her body, and then disinfects every bit of shopping.
Wow, that's amazing. I have to say, yesterday when you kindly dropped the food off outside with us, I did get the disinfectant and I wiped down the packaging, and then I took it out and just put it into other containers. But I guess we're all doing the best we can do, but human beings are very different by nature, aren't they? And we have a local village Facebook page, don't we, with everybody commenting, and there's a lot of anger at the moment. I know that people are out and about and socializing, and there's a lot of rage out there. And I think we need to understand people are doing the best that they can do, but rules are in place for a reason. And it's the same. We have rules in a house. We have rules in school. We have rules in society. We have written rules. We have unwritten rules. We have conscious rules and we have unconscious rules. And it's about the bigger picture, instead of being conscious all the time of other people. And that, as you say, if I'm carrying the virus, then am I going to put it on the oranges in the supermarket? Am I going to spread it? So we have to behave as though we are carrying the virus ourselves, not just expect everybody else is carrying it, but we are carrying it ourselves.
Absolutely. And this is the time when we don't break rules, basically. That's our main message today, isn't it? The rules are there in place. And if you want to take it a step further to protect yourself, just think about what you can do. Wash all your groceries. When you do get the letters from the mailbox, maybe do wear your gloves when you're picking it up and things like that. And if a package does come, wear gloves, open it, throw the packaging away, get rid of it, just because we really, really do not know where the virus is, do we? It's obviously not seen to the naked eye. We've got no idea, so we've just got to assume it's everywhere. Or how many deaths has there been overnight? There's been a record number of deaths, hasn't there, over in Europe? And obviously now all of this information's come out about the English government having the virus. Anybody can get it, and we've got to take care. And there's more. I was watching a video, I think it was in Italy, about how it's not just the elderly dying now. There's people in their 30s and 40s in the ICU. So we've all got to really take care of ourselves, haven't we?
Absolutely. One question to you, Jo. How do we deal with, you've got 4 teenagers, I've got 4 teenagers. Many people listening have got lots of young children that are used to having play dates, used to seeing their friends that live next door. How do we deal with children that are desperate to go out? Because I've said to mine, you can go for a walk or a run, you can go and exercise, but you can't meet your friends. And they're actually really good. They're not meeting their friends, but they are Skyping the whole time. They're literally online, social media, chatting in their groups, which is lovely. How do we deal with people that would say to us, there's nothing wrong with a quick play date for my 5-year-old. It's only the family next door. We know they don't have the virus. There's nothing wrong with my 16-year-old going off to see his girlfriend because we know the family, they don't have the virus. What would you say to that? How do we answer that?
I think we've just got to understand, we don't know who's in their bubble, do we? So we can say they haven't got the virus, but we've got absolutely no idea if they do or they don't. And just because we've been in isolation, we've only been in isolation for how many days now? Nobody knows if we don't know if ourselves, if we're carriers. We can be carriers and not be showing any symptoms whatsoever. So I just think the rule is no. It's as simple as that. If they want to play date, they do it via Zoom. There's so many things happening in the world. People are so innovative, aren't they? Like, look at Joe Wicks doing the PE for children. It's freaking awesome. And what I've actually just done this morning, I actually was doing a leg workout outside, one of my weights workouts, my goal setting. Well, I decided to just dance, and I recorded myself dancing, and I'm going to upload it onto Facebook later. I just think, I'm just going to dance every day, and if anybody wants to join me, they can. It's just,
That's awesome.
we don't need to do play dates. We don't need to, because look at you and me having our own little play date now.
Absolutely. So can you put that on our Facebook page, on our Pods with Posh and Paul?
Okay, maybe. I look like a right plonker.
You said you're going to upload it on Facebook, so if it's going to be out on Facebook, we need to see it, Jo. We so need to see it.
But it's like, let all your inhibitions go. Who gives a flying toss? Just have some fun. And the answer is no, you cannot go for play dates with the people next door. I know my eldest was Skyping his friends the other day and they were like, oh, we'll have to get together at some point. And they were only joking. And then they were talking about like in weeks' time, let's get together for beers. And I'm like, you are not seeing anybody. No. As if, if somebody needs to pick something up, like a client needs to pick something up the other day, disinfect it, left at the end of the drive. There's no contact whatsoever. No.
It's interesting because we were planning the topic for today, which was rules. And I was also thinking about rules we have in our own family. We have rules in the family for a reason, don't we? And rules are about boundaries as well. So boundaries are to keep us safe. And I was researching boundaries, and it's talking about, if you have boundaries, you've got structure. So you know that you are not wasting time. You are doing the things you're passionate about. You're reprogramming mindsets. For example, if you do your teeth at 7 o'clock every morning, or you wash your face when you get out of bed every single day, you do it automatically and you don't actually think about it. So it's in a way, if you're starting to obey rules, you will do it without thinking about it. You just have to make that shift between this is what was and this is what is. People don't like change. So I think the biggest thing for people that don't want to obey the rules is they don't want the change. They struggle to leave the friends behind and change to be isolated. And we get that totally. That's hard for us as well. But once you make that change and you sit with a new routine for you and your children and your family, then that becomes your established pattern of behavior. And it's about creating really lovely new rules as well, isn't it? Maybe on a Saturday, Sunday morning, if you're a family together at home, Dad's going to do one thing with the kids, Mum's going to do something else with the kids, and it's going to be a fun thing for the weekend, a fun game in the evening. As you said yesterday, Jo, having meals together, we can create new rules within the family that's just reorganize the way we structure our life. So it's not something necessarily negative, but we can recreate our life to be really positive, happy, and then we can be thankful for what we've got.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, there's some rules in place in the world, in life, in homes, in schools that are okay to kind of be pushed and to be broken, and it depends what as you say, they come in, there's the written rule and there's the unwritten rule. And in some establishments, you just cannot break rules, and it's as simple as that. However, there is some things that are out there to be questioned, to be pushed. And that's how people are, there's change makers out there that push boundaries, that push rules. And I'm all for that. And you and I, Sue, are the biggest rule breakers going at times. So, however, at this moment in time, this is the time to not break the rules. This is the time to go in line, listen to what the government's telling us, because they are telling us for a reason. It's for our own safety, and it's for everybody else's safety around us. So if you are stupid, if you go and break the rules, if you go to people's houses and socialise, then more fool you. You have it on your conscience because you do not know if you are carrying the virus. You do not know if they are carrying the virus. So don't be a dickhead and stick to the rules. And I'm sorry, that's straight talking, but that's as simple as it is.
And actually, by breaking the rules, the month's isolation that we're going through, lockdown, is going to be extended to 2 months, to 6 months. So actually, why not be short, sharp, get it over and done with? And, we're lucky because we have limited cases in New Zealand. So and because we've got a limited population as well, we can get it under control. Many countries maybe are outside the zone where they feel that they can get it under control. But as you say, the rules are in place for a reason. We can actually eradicate this if we stick to those rules. But there's no point in being in lockdown and then extending it to say, well, we're going to have to be in lockdown for 2 months, 6 months, because you're all socialising outside. The point of lockdown is to be locked down.
Exactly. So we are cheerleaders for the rules on this occasion, aren't we, Sue?
We are.
Cheerleaders.
For once, Jo, for once. Can you tell me, while you're live, the greatest rule you've ever broken?
No, I definitely cannot.
No. Okay. I thought that would be your answer. Maybe when lockdown is over, maybe you could tell us.
Well, maybe if we have a few glasses of wine, loose lips sink ships. Maybe I'll tell you then.
Cool.
Maybe.
Well, that's our anyway. Today. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We are tuning in every day. We are posting at about 11 o'clock every day in New Zealand time in the morning. I know in England they're about to change their clocks. Did you realise that, Jo? So we're going to be actually same time as England for once. We get the snippet of about 4 or 5 weeks here. Or is it only a week before we change our clock? So 9 o'clock in the morning will be same as 9 o'clock in the evening, vice versa. It's great one, same time. So we are publishing about 11 o'clock in the morning every day in New Zealand. So follow us, watch us, like our Facebook page, Pods with Posh and Paul, see us on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, your podcast app.
And we've got some great topics coming up. And again, if you want us to talk about anything, let us know.
Thanks so much for being with us today. For us to inspire others to live their magnificently imperfect life, please subscribe and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or on your podcast app. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Pods with Posh and Pool. We can't wait for you to join us on our next episode. Love, light and peace.